Hello and welcome to the Leyton UK Life at Leyton Podcast with me, Sarah Glanville, as your host. Here at Leyton UK, we know our people are more than just their job. The careers of our people are part of their unique lives, and who they are as a whole person is what fundamentally contributes to their success and the success of our business. In the podcast, we'll spend time with one of our exceptional people from across the business. And in each episode, we'll look to explore the people behind the job titles, the unique and brilliant stories that make them who they are. In today's episode, we're launching the podcast, and I thought the perfect place to start would be with the leader who gave me the nod to start this crazy, different little project, Nicola Plenderleith, our Head of Talent Acquisition at Leyton UK. Today, Nicola and I will discuss the why behind the podcast, and the very exciting mission that we are on within the talent acquisition team to bring the very best people to Leyton in the future. So thank you for tuning in. Grab yourself a coffee and get ready to be inspired by the people that are Leyton UK. Hello Nicola, welcome to episode 1 of Leyton UK's Life at Leyton podcast. Thank you for agreeing to join me for the debut episode. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm a wee bit nervous. I've not done this before.
Yeah, I'm quite unpracticed in this as well, so we can be new together. We have a lot to cover today in what I think will be a short mini episode to launch the podcast. When I was thinking about how to kick off the podcast, I really thought it would be best to bring you on today to help me set the scene and explain what we think we're up to starting a podcast. I think a few weeks ago when I approached you with the idea that we could do something like this, I know you kind of got me straight away, the method behind my madness. Do you want to tell our listeners what we are creating a podcast for?
So I think the main thing from the podcast is really just to celebrate the people within Leyton. I'm still reasonably new here myself, and in the short time I have been here, I very quickly have seen the personalities behind certain names or job titles, and everyone's got a different story to tell. Everyone's had a different journey to get to Leyton, and I think that's a really positive thing to explore.
Yeah, exactly. As I was making my way around the offices in my first few weeks here and meeting everyone across the business, I was just blown away at how brilliant our people are. Yeah. There's so many incredible stories from people in every area of the business and every office that not only showcases the sort of people that you want to be working hand in hand with if you joined Leyton, but also the opportunities and the space that Leyton UK gives its employees to succeed here. Yep. So do you want to kind of maybe give us a wee highlight of some of the possible future guests that we might be talking to on the podcast?
Ooh, I bet everyone's got complete trepidation with that. We've got an incredible range of people at Leyton, and I would definitely say the people of Leyton are what makes the business as incredible as it is. So I would hope that we will have involvement from some of our technical consultants who are among the smartest people in the UK, and who have real insight into not just their particular professional space, but how they've become the subject matter experts in their space. We've also got some wonderful people in our sales and BD teams who've had wild journeys into sales and BD, well-travelled, who have had experiences out with industry that add value to the company. So I expect that we'll be talking to a variety of different people, which just helps to showcase all that Leyton has to offer if you were considering coming to work here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was kind of the biggest motivation for me behind launching the podcast, was to give people within Leyton an opportunity to share their stories, to show exactly how much value people can bring to an organisation like this. And it's not just what they do at work, it's who they are as whole people that add value to what they can bring to their role and the success that they can have here.
I think that's a really kind of important thing to talk about, though, because for the last maybe 5 years we've heard this phrase, bring your authentic self to work, and it becomes a cool thing to say as an employer, but what does it really mean? And here, within all of the Leyton offices, you really do feel like people get the opportunity to just be themselves. That's why they succeed.
Yeah, I've felt that so much in the first kind of little stint of me being here, the first month and a bit. I felt I've been given so much space to just be creative and be myself, and that's what I'm here for, is to be myself and to bring that energy. So I love that this is the sort of environment that people get to do that, and you see that that's the people that thrive are the people that get to be themselves. It's brilliant. So talking about this is getting me really excited about this as a project, and I guess it's really important for us to define who this podcast is actually aimed for. Who's going to be our listeners?
Well, I hope we have got listeners.
Me too.
Initially, I think it's important that the rest of Leyton UK and all of our staff hear this particular episode and why we're doing it, because the whole point of celebrating the people who work here is to engage with our future workforce as well. So it's recognising our existing staff whilst also hopefully engaging with the talent of tomorrow that is going to help to continue building Leyton's future.
Absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We want people to be first off engaged in coming onto the podcast. So if you're out there listening now, Leyton team, we're coming out to ask for your help to bring the stories of Leyton's people to life. But also the longer term objective with this is that we'll be able to share these incredible stories with people in our talent community. Exactly. That we want to join the business, and they'll be able to get a picture about who you might be working alongside and the sort of people that make Leyton before you ever step in the door on your first day here. Yeah. So I guess that brings us really nicely on to talking about our talent community. So this is something really new for Leyton. It's actually pretty new, full stop. Yep. So Nicola, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Leyton's talent community and why we're trying to create a talent community for Leyton UK?
Of course. One of the things I love about the Leyton business model is the real celebration of entrepreneurialism. Big word that I struggle to get out, but we always look for the opportunity to be different, to do something different. When it comes to talent acquisition and recruitment, there's a lot of conversation around what the difference is between recruiting and talent acquisition, and for me it's about the longer term planning of our people. Of course we have vacancies that pop up and we need to fill them quickly, but our priority is on finding the right person for the right role. Absolutely. At the right time. And the only way that I see of doing that in what is a really, really busy job market is by bringing people on that journey as early as possible. So the whole concept of the talent community is really to help people get to know the company, get to know what the roles look like and what they involve, what career progression can look like, what pathways may be open to them if they do decide to join Leyton, and what their potential is. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
Yeah, I love that word, potential. And for me, that's, I think, the cornerstone of what a talent community is about, is understanding that every person has potential, and someone who may be interested in joining a company like Leyton, even if the opportunity right now isn't there for them, that in time they may be able to realise their true potential, and there may be an opportunity at some point for that person. So it's about engaging candidates, bringing them along on the journey, as you said, and showing that there's a future here for them at Leyton, for the right people, for the right talented people, that 100%. There's space for them here.
I think the other part of the talent community is that we've all applied for jobs at some point in time in our career, and sometimes you get an acknowledgement, sometimes you don't. Most of the time you probably don't. And you kind of forget about that company. You forget until the next job opening comes up. And if you've not been successful first time around with a company, that can be enough to put you off ever reapplying in the future.
Absolutely.
I want to avoid that. I want us to give people the opportunity to remain part of the kind of external Leyton community, if you like, because you never know what's around the corner. And just because one role isn't right at a given time doesn't mean that there isn't something better around the corner.
Yeah.
Even my own personal experience at Leyton, you know, I applied for a role that wasn't the right time, or indeed even the right role for me, and then I've ended up, you know, coming in at a later date in the head of TA position. So that's the perfect example of continuing a relationship with an organisation, and for Leyton continuing to promote our employer brand, because there is always something around the corner that can be more positive than where you are right now.
Couldn't agree more. I think that summed up the talent community really, really well. I think that the impact that building Leyton UK's talent community is going to have on the business is going to be incredible. We have some fantastic people who work here at Leyton, and we want to bring in more fantastic people. We want that to be the standard. We want people to be bringing value to the business that's our job in talent, is to bring in the right people, as you've said. So I think that us really engaging with the community out there, engaging with job seekers and adding value to their experience going through our recruitment process is going to help us bring in the right people in time.
When you think about it, like, the UK unemployment rate has been really, really low for several years now, actually, even post-pandemic. So for any organisation that is experiencing growth or that wants to plan for growth, you have to be creative about how you're going to identify the right talent for your organisation. For Leyton, that can mean a number of different things. That can mean us looking to engage with people from the ex-military community. It can look at returners to work. It could look at communities that are perhaps not as confident coming into a city centre office space. Maybe we need to look more at the remote aspect. But until you have the conversation and you are open to the responses, you're kind of always going to be limited to the same talent pool you've always had. And for me, that's the whole point of, bringing in someone with your expertise, with taking the time to fully get to know the people who are already here and why they stay, and then using that to build on with anyone new who's coming in.
I'm just so excited for everything that's going to be happening this year in our little world, Nicola, and I think that the business is going to see a massive benefit on the back end.
Totally agree. And the other thing that I think anyone that has reasonably consistent dealings with me will probably be sick of me talking about is the move away from talking about culture fit. So many organisations spend their hiring time looking for people to fit their company. Actually, what we want is people who can add value to our company, and that value can come in experience, whether it be professional or life experience. That value can come in just their approach or their openness. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to have the same results. Absolutely. That's not what's interesting to us. We want to be the best. We are the best. We have hugely high expectations of our people and of ourselves. And I think that taking a different route to bringing people in to the organisation is only going to be a good thing. Adding
perspectives and viewpoints, and in such an environment where we both have felt so welcomed and so able to be ourselves. I think that sort of environment is ready to accept people from a real diverse background, and as you say, with lots of different experiences before they've come here with value to add. It's open for this, primed and ready for that exact sort of person. So thank you for joining me for the first episode, Nicola. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of cover off before we sign off today?
Not really. I mean, I think as a modern organisation, we have a responsibility to identify where the talent is in relation to our business, rather than trying to kind of fit a square peg in a round hole. So being creative with our approach can only be a good thing, and fundamentally we hire the right people, we get it right first time. That has a that has a massive impact on the business's bottom line, you know.
Absolutely.
We're all here to make that impact somehow, so yeah, it's exciting.
It is so exciting. Thank you all for listening along at home, and I hope you are all as excited as we are to start hearing the stories of our people here at Leyton. If you are a colleague who would like us to hear your story, please do reach out to me or Nicola. We'll be looking for your help to help us bring this podcast to life. We'll be back here in a few weeks' time for our second episode and our first real story from one of our people here at Leyton UK. Until then, if you're one of the members in our Italian community and you're interested in finding out more about what the future might look like at Leyton, please reach out to one of us here in the amazing TA team. I'll put my contact details in the description below, or check out our careers page for all the roles we have live currently. We'll be back in a few weeks. Thanks again, Nicola, for jumping on for the first one. Thank you all for listening in. This has been episode 1 of Leyton UK Life at Leyton Podcast.